Hi, my name is Tracy, and I was a victim of drug abuse through my ex-husband. We had dated 5 years and then decided to get married. He said that he had messed in drugs before we ever got married, but said that was in the past. So we got married, and we were married for about 5 years and had been trying to have a kid and couldn't. And so our doctor said that we probably never would be able to have kids. But we finally, about 5 years into the marriage, I got pregnant, and we were so excited. And a couple of months into the pregnancy, though, the drug bath salts came out, and it was legal then, and you could just pick it up at a gas station. So my ex-husband started using it, and he was like, if there's anything wrong with it, it wouldn't be legal. And I said, but like, I could tell when you've been on this stuff, because you like get crazy and you get paranoid and stuff's not real and you get weird about stuff. Well, then it became illegal, but you could still buy it out of state. And so he continued using it, even though he said he wasn't, because I was just against it. But he just continued. Like one day, I don't know, it was maybe halfway through the pregnancy, like he just snapped, and like he never came back from that. He was just paranoid. He would see street lights through the woods, and he would say it was flashlights and people coming to get us. It was always somebody coming to hurt us, and he would threaten to do violence against these people that were coming after us. And even though you could say this is not real, try to reason with them, there was no reasoning with somebody who was just under that delusion. Whenever the drugs takes over your mind, it's like you're gone and you can't think for yourself anymore. And so he continued to progressively get worse. Like, I don't know how many times he had done the bath salts before, it just like he never came back, but he just didn't come back from it, and he just progressively got more paranoid. And he would threaten violence against other people, but not against me so much. After the baby was born, though, I don't know if it was like the pressure of parenthood, but I think he started experimenting with other things along with the bath salts, and that just made him get even worse. And finally he just decided that the reason I don't see the paranoia and all these people that's chasing us is because I was in on it, and so I was just like covering for all these people that are after him or whatever. And so then the violent threats started against me and against my family, and we got this new baby, and I still don't know what I was thinking, just staying there, but I wanted to like make it work, and I wanted to try to help him get better, but you can't help somebody who doesn't want to get better. And so eventually, like, he never hit or was violent in that way, but he would make threats like, you won't ever see it coming. When I decide to do something, you're not going to know. And it finally got so bad, I would stay at my mom's when it got really scary, but then I'd always go back to try to save my husband and stay there and try to work things out, and he'd be sorry and things are okay, but then he was still using, and anytime he used, he would just slip back into this craziness. And he wasn't the person that I dated or married at all anymore. It was a totally different person, and it kept getting so bad through that year. And the violence that he was threatening to do, and he would he had guns and other weapons that he was like storing, and he would say what he was going to do with them, and all like mental things to try to, all these things like strategies he was trying to come up with of how he was going to get these people. And whenever I was in on it, sometimes I was and sometimes I wasn't. When I was in on it, what he would do to me and my family if we didn't get out of his business is what he would say. But I would end up having to shut the door and like barricade it, and on his like crazy nights, and he would be screaming through the door what he's going to do if I have my baby laying beside me. And I didn't leave, partly out of like embarrassment, because I was tired of going to my family saying, oh, he's crazy again, or I didn't want them to know how bad it was. And but also I had like, it got to the point that I had a gun under my pillow with my baby beside me in case he got through the barricaded door instead of just leaving. But and I had heard some random story that on the news that boxers would protect the children in the family, and so like just on a random whim I go out and get a boxer from the pound to protect my child if he killed me. And I still stayed. And I have to get back into my thoughts, sorry. I had written a letter to my son, and I like hidden it in his baby book in case something happened, so that he would, you know, at least know that I loved him and I wanted more for him, and not to take this path that his dad took, and how dangerous it can be, and it changes people, and that his dad was a good person, and it's just that the choices he made changed him, and that wasn't him, and just apologize, and like just in case he never got to meet me or know me because he was just a baby. And but so I was starting to think, you know, I should have thought a lot sooner, but I was thinking, man, I've got to get out of the situation, I've got to get this baby out of the situation. And never did I dream after 5 years of trying to become pregnant that I could again. And I found out I was carrying my second son. And you know, it's not a situation that one baby should be in, much less, you know, two. And I was already trying to think of how to leave, how am I going to leave with two babies now, and pregnant, and what am I supposed to do? And about halfway through that pregnancy, I found drugs in the floor, and my son, my 1-year-old, was not far from the drugs, and he could just crawl over and stuck it in his mouth. So I gave my husband an ultimatum that he either gets help or he gets out until he's ready to get help. And he chose to leave, and I was heartbroken and devastated. I thought he would choose us, but the drugs have such a strong hold that even natural things like that you wouldn't leave your pregnant wife and your child for this drug. But he did. Like, it wasn't even a second thought. He was just like, I'll see ya. And then so I thought, well, at least I can keep us safe. And had the locks changed on my house. He still came and like tried to break the window with a frozen potted plant one time, and threatened that I wouldn't see a bullet coming, you know, if just whenever he was mad about any random thing or paranoid again. About, I don't know, I eventually found out he was having an affair with another lady who was into the drug scene too, and she had HIV and hepatitis, and so the baby and I was exposed to that because he had been with her before he left. Actually, he was with her, before we ever conceived our second son. And so I had to worry about that then, of how am I going to protect the baby against that, and do I have, HIV now, and all these things that you can get from just using drugs and dirty needles and things like that. I didn't know what to do, and so I thought, well, I can either like try to run and find comfort the same way that he is and just escape everything through alcohol or drugs or something. Like, that thought actually went through my mind, because I was like, I can't deal with all this. But I said, no, I just ran to God. I said, I can't fix anything and I can't keep us safe, but I knew God can. And so I had started going to church, and I just started clinging like to every message that was there and every song that they sang. And anytime I get stressed, because the only thing I could control was that I didn't stress out the new baby during the pregnancy, and so I just started reading my Bible every time I get stressed or thinking about things, and it just eventually got to where I could forgive him for what he had done, and for the affair, and for the danger he put us in, and all of that, because he was a victim too of something he just tried a couple times, and like he just never came back from it. And so in a way, it was the drug addiction had attacked all of us, even though he was one that chose to do the drugs. Like, the addiction had no mercy for me or for my baby, or no mercy for him. And sometimes just trying it one time is too late, because you don't come back from it. And so if anything, from my story, if anybody can get anything from this, One, you don't have to succumb to the pressure to do it, because there is another choice. Like, you can choose life instead of death, and there is no good that you're going to find in escaping in drugs. It's not fun when you lose your mind to it. It's not fun anymore, and it's not worth it. It's not worth what you put your family through, and it's not worth what you lose, because he's seeking help now, and this has been 7 years ago that he did bath salt, but he's still not back. His mind's not there, and he's still paranoid about things, and he's still struggling. He is seeking help now, and he's in a good relationship, and I got married to someone I met at the church, and life is going on, but he's not the same, and I don't know if he ever will be, because of trying it one too many times and trying the wrong thing, and instead of looking for escape in good things. I mean, this is just not, he just never came back from it. My name is Tracie. To hear my story and many others, visit notuswv.com and click on stories.